Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Authors Quill. I hope everyone's having a great morning, great afternoon, great evening, wherever you happen to be listening to us on the big, beautiful blue planet we all live on. I know we're in every time zone these days, so you can catch us anywhere you happen to be on the planet. The Antarctic, Jimmy, you had to ask him. You actually could hear us in the Antarctic. If you have internet connection down there, you could hear us on the Antarctic as well. Yes, you could. I know people in South Korea, well, in North Korea, listen to us. They like to tune in. Venezuela, yeah, all those bad countries tuning in. They might learn something here. Make them literate might help. Making the world literate never hurts. Let's just be honest about it. What's that, Jimmy? Yes. But I want to welcome everyone to the Authors Club. Really do. It's the holiday. People hope you're all relaxed. I mean, I know a lot of you people had good, happy family deals yesterday. Some of y'all probably tried to kill each other, but still, it's the holiday. It's get past it already. Am I looking forward to New Year's? I'm always looking forward to New Year's. I'm actually, no, I'm probably going to be going out. A lot of times we do. Somebody will be doing a live broadcast. I'll tell you, there's always a New Year's party. One of the hosts is always hosting a party. It's the only time I let them drink on the station live. So it's the only time they get to do that, and they can play music and have as much fun as they want and talk about whatever they really want to talk about. But I see John being all quiet, but he always scares me when he's quiet. It makes me think Emily done pulled out the machetes or the machine guns. So, by the way, you tell her I didn't get no Christmas present yesterday. Santa Claus said he was scared to come landing around here because I was a friend of Emily. She carries, weapons and stuff. So you just tell her I know now she's on my list.
Okay, good.
Emily's
my wife.
Oh, yes. She's gun toting, spear toting, knife toting. You gotta watch her, man. She's dangerous. When Ho-Ho's scared of you, it says a lot. It just says a lot. But anyway, no, Justin. No, his wife is a sweetie pie. She really is. I give her trouble because I can, but she can be mean. What are you talking about? No, when she gets tired of me, she'll just leave me alone. Go do something with yourself. Go bug my husband. That's her favorite. Go bug John.
So moving on, we've got this beautiful guest with us today, Katie Cross. She was a guest on the podcast a month or so ago, and I met her at DragonCon earlier this year. One of my other salespeople, Julie Wolves, was walking around and said, "You should see this girl. You should meet her. She looks really, really nice." So I went up there. You were gone, of course, and then they said, "Well, hang around. She'll be back." So you came back, and you were that. You were very, very nice. And then I really enjoyed reading your book. But anyway, welcome, Katie Cross.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah, she's a nurse. She's third-degree black belt. She's can throw knives from both hands, and she's actually been able
you're not
to,
even allowed to go around his
spring.
way.
She can take a spear between her toes and throw it at you and get you right your earlobe. She can nail it. He's
outed me. He's outed me. I don't tell everyone until they have to find out. Yeah. But all of these are true.
Because she's a nurse, she can handle it all without anybody really
you're not allowed to go. You're not allowed to go around his wife. I can already tell this is going to be trouble. I'm gonna have a little force shield if y'all ever meet. Keep y'all apart. Oh man, no. I mean nurses. I got friends and family that are nurses, and I know what kind of job that is. I watch a good friend of mine. She moved from West Africa to England. Then her family moved here, and she moved up to New York. Went to school, got her nurses. Well, went to school. Nobody would give her a job right out of nursing school, so she went and was working hospice, and she did a couple other things. And then she finally got a good nursing job. She got into that, and then she decided, I want to be a nurse practitioner. So she went to school for that. Last time I talked to her, she was a full doctor with a PhD. Come to our country, decided to stay. I said, and when I talked to her, I'm like, a nurse? I couldn't be a nurse. I'd be choking people. There's no way, man. Look, I know from my own personal experiences, thank God, I spent last time was like 12 days in the hospital. These nurses were just complete sweethearts, because if not, I'd have probably killed half the staff. I'm not good at sitting still. So, I mean, they went out of their way to make sure to come by and check on you, and always smiling. And I know y'all work, long hours, long hours. What is that, Jimmy? When Zuby started, she was working 2 different jobs. She usually put in 80 to 90 hours a week.
Oof, that's rough.
unless, there was something else. But she was young. She was 18, 19, 20 years old or something. She probably had the energy now. Now she's an old broad, so she ain't doing that no more. But anyway, when I met you in the draw. Oh, go ahead, John.
When I met Katie and I read a book, the thing that just really struck me, which I told her, which was just amazing. Like, she's a comfortable person to read. Her stories are just really comfortable. I really enjoy them. It's what's the category that you call it? Because it's YA, it's fantasy, it's
but usually I just say YA fantasy.
Okay.
Yeah. Or I'll tell people it's like a medieval Harry Potter feel.
Yeah. Yeah. Which is really fun though, just in that whole world that she's built and stuff like that. But her main character is just a real she's real humble. She's not into like being this super duper, sorceress or something like that. She's just like coming to school. She's got her quest she needs to do because she's got this curse that's going to like toast her if she doesn't deal with it. Yeah. And that's what at least the first book that I read is all about. So is this a story about your childhood and why you became a nurse so you could handle the curse that you were born with or something, Katie?
I know, I love getting existential on this. Yeah, so my first book, Miss Mabel's School for Girls, I think is one of my favorite books too. It's just like, it was when I was writing for pure love and passion. So I was a full-time nurse. I did pediatric and cardiac nursing. And then I married a guy in the military and I couldn't really do nursing. So I turned to my second love, which was writing, and ended up writing Bianca's first book and publishing it. And I don't work as a nurse anymore. I just write books, Bianca and others. And Bianca was just the sheer love of writing. It was just really fun. When I was writing at the time, I was just having a good time. But later I can look back and be like, oh yeah, I was totally figuring out parts of my life through that story, like maybe not my childhood entirely, but there were things happening in my life and my husband's career that I kind of put into that book. And I'm like, oh, it's like so obvious to me now. I couldn't believe I didn't see it at the time. I felt so blind.
Yeah. And you were like, because you live in the right next to nowhere in the middle of the whatever, which is like the forest. I mean, that whole space that she's in and walk, I can totally see you. Imagine you walking through there with barefoot and just walking around in the grass and stuff like that, and just stuff we can't do here in Hollywood because you might step on a needle or broken glass or something like that.
Get a HIV or something. Yeah. So I live at the end of a dirt road on top of kind of a mountain bench in Montana, and I have national forest behind my house. So I hike every day. My character Bianca loves the forest. She loves trees. She loves being outside, and she often will be barefoot out in the world. She's braver than I am because going barefoot in the forest is really hard. I do it, but I do it very carefully when there's a lot of pine needles and stuff. Yeah. Otherwise it just hurts. I do love like walking barefoot sometimes though, but yeah, I go into the trees every day. I think part of Bianca's appeal to people is that I haven't hidden the fact that I've given her a lot of parts of myself, right? So yeah, my love of forest, like that kind of passion, I just keep as part of Bianca. So the books feel, I like your word comfortable is such a high compliment to me. Like I have chewed on that very gratefully for a while. I think it feels comfortable because it's comfortable to me. Because Bianca has parts of me that I give her on purpose. And one of those is her love of the outdoors and forest for sure.
Yeah. I mean, your language is really easy to read. So it's just, because I read a lot, I'll read, I just finished a double header on a techno thriller on the moon where there's a lot of NASA language and because it's alternate history from the NASA period of late 70s or early 80s, going to the moon and the Russia, USSR-US conflict and stuff. And it was really intense. I mean, I lived through it, but also in this, it's even more intense in here because he turned into this series. But then reading yours is like, I can just really enjoy this thing here. It's unfortunate because I still have to read fast to get through the books to keep up with all the podcasts, but yeah. Yours is one of the, hopefully I get some windows I can read the next one and, in her story. Cause it's just really enjoyable to see watching how she grows from, like I said, a Harry Potter type-ish, of a story there as he grows and she's growing too, but she's not the typical like Harry Potter's like the YA story, fantasy stories. The kid is verges on being a brat, and so you say, don't go in that door. So what does he do? He goes into that door. That's the basic plot line on all those types of stories.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, she's got her two friends, so there's the three people there.
Yep.
You know, that you got there, and she doesn't necessarily go in to do what she's not supposed to do. She just kind of like challenges because of her dilemma. She's challenging, and she knows she can't go the regular, route. She's got to like cross bridges very, very fast if she's going to deal with this by it's the 18th birthday, right?
17th. Yeah.
17th.
The curse will kill her on her birthday unless she
Yeah.
convinces the head witch of a magical school to remove it.
Yeah. And so I'm just to the point, the end of book 1, it's not resolved. It's getting ready to, so that's why I need to go. Okay. So of course it gets resolved, because you're not going to have her get toasted, but like, how does she deal with it? I don't know that, because she's definitely got some mega opposition that she needs to deal with. She's got her own Voldemort.
Yeah.
To deal with.
Sure. Yeah. So Bianca's 12th book actually comes out in March. So
12, my gosh.
Yeah, sure. Her 12th book comes out in March. I'm just doing final touches on it before it goes to proofing, and then I narrate it. So it's amazing to look back and see the Leviathan that she became from that first book, and she spawned so many other series too. It's really cool. It's really cool
Yeah.
to see what happens when you let an author go.
Yeah. Now, one thing too, when we did our podcast, I asked you like a tip for aspiring writers, and you're talking about, I've just got the transcript here. I think the number one tip that I always go to, because I don't feel I hear it enough, is to learn how to recognize your own mindset. And you go and explaining that. So let's talk about that, and we'll see how close you stick to what you said before. And I'll tell you if you
no. Tested. I'm getting tested. Yeah. So when I give the advice for aspiring or new or any author, really, you often hear like write every day or whatever. But the advice that I like to give people actually focuses not on writing at all per se, but just the mindset that we carry in our head, or the things that we're saying to ourselves. So learning how to hear the things that you are thinking, or the things that you're saying in your head, I think is actually the fastest path to success, because you hear the limiting beliefs, you hear the imposter syndrome, and you hear the self-sabotage before you act on it. Most of those things that limit us come before the decisions that we make. So we might think we're making the right decision, but actually we're making an emotional decision based on something we're not hearing in our head. And that's why I always tell people, just start listening to your thoughts. What are you saying before you take an action in your career?
Yeah. So, Joe has he's done lots of stuff on this radio show they started. When he began, he was like, you don't want me on this thing, because he says what he thinks. He doesn't use it and introvert on and go oh, I shouldn't. He's just he's like Emily. That's why he and Emily get along so well. There's they're filterless.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're muted, Joe. Maybe it's just as well.
There you go. Sorry, I thought I had the other one muted, but no, Emily's great, but I always tell people, don't get in between us when we're playing, when we're teasing back and forth, because you're liable to get in trouble. It's a dangerous place to be. But when I started radio, first time I was asked to do radio, I looked at the guy like, "Are you stupid?" I said, "I'm a general contractor and I work with a research group. I know about radio." "Oh, come on, you can do it. Anybody can do it." I'm like, "Dude, did you sure?" So I did it. First show I ever did, waited 2-hour show. Got in a fight with the guest the entire 2 hours. And I'm not talking little fight. I mean, fight, kind when you think your husband's cheating on you, kind of fight, that kind of fight. It was bad. So I figured I was fired, I did. Well, I called him, said, "Well, it's been nice working for you." He said, "Where are you going?" He said, "My ratings were triple. You're not going anywhere." I was like, okay.
Sounds right.
It was a lot of fun, but to get the hit, see, I own this network, so it's a little different. But my station manager, the real boss, not me, she decides what we can get away with and what we can't. She's a tad bit stricter Yeah. She's like, Joe, what did you say to her? Nothing. I said, you can't fire me, right? She's like, yeah, no. Oh, but she's great because she deals with all the crazy hosts, all those. We got 40 hosts on the network, so it's all 40 something egos to deal with. And she deals with all that. She sets up where everything's going to go, who's going to do where, what shows go where. So I got the easy job. I just got to come out here and harass people.
Yeah.
And on my resume, it says equal opportunity hater. It actually says that. Yeah, because I'm a centrist. I'm not a Republican, and I'm not a Democrat. So, and a lot of my friends are. So I have to be a centrist. That way I can tear them both up. It's fun too. It's a lot of fun.
Now, what branches military is your husband in, Katie?
He was in the Army. We're out now, but he was an officer in the Army.
Yeah, we got one of our hosts, Sean Hazlitt, was an officer in the Army. He was a tanker though.
Yeah.
We were armor. Yeah.
He went and got his PhD after he used to blow stuff up with his tank. I was like, that's what's the matter. You blew too much shit up. You had to go get new education. He's like, Joe, stop it. It's like, but no, everybody. And there's a lot of military people on the network too. There's a lot of hosts that are ex-military. Several of us from the Navy and the Air Force, a couple from the Army, a couple from the Marines. We don't really talk about it much unless it happens to be on a show where we're talking about it. But other than that, it's not like we wear it like a flag. But still, you can tell when we're all together because I did this, I blew up that, I did that. It's probably not good for public radio, actually. Especially if
your husband, was he mostly stationed overseas, or was he?
So when we got married, he was in the infantry and had just promoted to captain at the 101st. When we got married, and he went into selection for special forces. And then, so the first 2 years of our marriage were him going through the qualification process for the Green Berets. And once he qualified, got out, we took an assignment in Colorado where he was a captain of the special forces team there. And eventually.
Can I ask you what year? I'm just being there because I was SPTC, which is Special Forces. For the Navy,
okay. Okay. Yeah, the Green Berets and SEALs are so very different. It's interesting to hear them talk about each other.
But we're not that. See, we would have been the guys, like if your husband would have gotten in trouble, we'd have been the guys who went and got him. Same thing with the SEALs. So they train certain groups so that if the real boys got in trouble, they had backup. Because something happened, and I don't remember what the exact story was, but it was something in one of those desert wars where one of our groups got in trouble and there was nobody to go get them. So they decided, screw this. We're not going to have this happening anymore. So they came up with a team. That's all they do. They go in. They don't send anybody else special forces. They just send this particular group in there. And I always wondered if they just thought they were sacrificable or something, because
the Expendables.
Make
a movie series out of that.
Yeah, sacrificable works, man. Because I mean, they didn't send you where even special forces don't want to go. So you're kind of like, or where somebody in special forces is being pinned down. You got to think about those kind of things. Like, if somebody's going to die in this, you just don't want it to be you. That's good stories for writers, though. It's funny too how many writers I've met that's come out of the Army, and I've met quite a few with writers of the future as well. That have actually come out of the Army, more so out of the Army, I think, than any other branch that I can think of right offhand. I'm going to have to go back and look at that now. I wonder why that could be. Maybe it's stress.
Yeah. Well, to answer your question, so we were in the US for his training for a while, and then once he got a team, he went overseas a lot more. But it's different than regular Army. You had much shorter, punchier deployments for what he experienced on his team. Every team is so different. And then eventually he promoted to major, and once he promoted to major, we went to National Guard and eventually got out. So
major's a good position to retire in.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I think he missed boots on the ground. Like, as you promote.
Well, that's true too.
And he didn't want that. He wanted to be doing something, basically, not getting yelled at for PowerPoints. So we ended up getting out, and he's gone to some other stuff.
Well, because it's hard once you even when short deployments, it's still hard because you may go for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days, maybe longer sometimes, but usually it's pretty short. But then you come home, you might be home 2, 3, 4 months, and you might be gone. Sometimes you might be home a week and you're gone. That's the thing. You just never know where you're going or how you're going. You don't find out. You're like the last guy that finds out. Oh, guess what? We're sending you to Iraq. For what? Oh, we can't tell you that till you get there. Okay.
Yeah, we had some of that where he would have to deploy, and I knew it was coming, but like we had to act like we didn't know when, so no one actually knew. And then one time he left, and they would have to completely turn off and get rid of their phones before they even entered country. And so he would like have a phrase, he would WhatsApp me, and then like he would WhatsApp me the phrase, so I knew it was coming from him from an in-country phone that was probably for sure bugged. And then I would be able to just confirm that he got there. One time it was like 2 weeks. Like he just left, and 2 weeks later I got the phrase from him and was able to like message back and forth. And another time it was 10, like it was all very vague and weird.
Yeah, well, because a lot of times you get stuck in places where you can't communicate, and sometimes it's because of the enemy, and sometimes it's because of where you happen to be for the military. They block all that stuff out. And we were stationed one place, your digital watches wouldn't even work. I was like, what the hell with my watch? You said you need to go get you a different kind of watch. I said, like, yeah, but the crystal watches didn't work either. They just quit. You'd be looking at it and just stop. And you're like, what the hell is this? I don't know what they were running, but they didn't want anything getting in there and listening. I guess because they were worried about people eavesdropping on the conversations. And I think that more so they were worried about just what the guys were chatting about. Because, everybody be sitting around wondering what the hell's going to happen next. Or who's going to get shot. It's funny. They used to take bets on who was going to get shot first.
Okay, so let's move on here. So that's my fault. That's my bad for pushing in this direction. So I'm going to pull it back out. But one thing that's interesting with we're talking about the guys that are ex-military that go into writing fantasy to actually deal with their, how do you unload and decompress? So they do it through fantasy. I had one guy that was mega, hardcore military, and he was writing cozy fantasy. And
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and the main character was a troll or an orc, or he was something, and his whole life he was working to build up to be this elite force, and they were the most elite in this whole. And they had it wasn't a dragon; it was another type of a flying, creature. And when they went to fight this dragon, the dragon toasted his creature, and he fell down and he got toasted, and so he couldn't. He took a lot of time to convalesce. So he wasn't qualified to be in his group anymore. And he went back there to say hello to everybody, and everybody just went quiet and just kind of like, so it's just like what happened to him, because now he was forced back to civilian life. All he ever knew was military and going for that. And now he couldn't do it anymore. And dealing with that transition, it became a cozy fantasy. But it was, when we did the interview, and it was like, wow, it was great. But that was his way of like dealing with the transition, because all he ever wanted to do was to be this super military, and after an injury he couldn't do it anymore, and it was like a major blow to him. So, but James Rosone, Joe, that we've had on us a couple times, he was an interrogator in the Middle East, and he said that was just like, that was rough being an interrogator. He was that for a couple, he was in the military. He retired after like 27 years or so, but his books, he writes near future science fiction about the what would become World War III, with this app that China created that's just like TikTok, and they use it to profile all the different countries and leaders. And then they start going into the with facial recognition and start creating the fake videos and all that stuff there. And then you get the presidents and stuff like that saying something other than what they're saying in the fake videos, and creating this conflict and stuff. It's really scary, but you see what's happening right now. It's kind of like, wow. So you see the military guys definitely do turn to science fiction and fantasy to be able to like deal with what they had to go through in there. And he gets other military people that are retired to help, gets them to co-author with him so they can also chill. Were you going to say something there, Katie?
Yeah, I was going to say, my husband and I have kind of talked about this before, and I think there's an element of the intensity is sometimes so much for real life, or like they can't actually talk about some things, that putting it in an alternate world and having a fantasy element like softens it, but also gives control over narrative in a way we don't get in real life. My husband and I just had this like really interesting conversation about how people seek story because there are definite definite endings. There's like, you have the end where something wraps up, like maybe
Right.
not everything, but something wraps up. Or especially in lit RPG, some fiction, you have progression that actually means something. So you acquire a skill and you're able to use it all the time. And none of that's true in real life, right?
Right.
Like there's so many things don't have an ending, like trauma can take, like whatever. But when you get into especially fantasy, for these sort of healing components or whatever, it allows you to have a world that's more malleable but approachable by other people so that you can like work through that and work it out. And it's so fascinating. I think it's really fascinating to see, especially for ex-military males, right? I think that's most interesting.
But we had one gal also that was a guest. This was last year. I forget her name right now. Ex-military. She was a nurse, and she would deal with other female military rape and stuff like that. And it was intense, and for her, she had to do her stuff also for decompressing is just like writing these books that she's able to like handle that stress and that trauma that was going on when she would deal with these people. And one gal died in her arms, and it was just like, really, really rough having to deal with that because you're a nurse and you're trained to handle, biophysical things, and maybe you get some stuff in psychological, but mostly that's going to be, you're going to figure that out on your own as things go on. How are you going to get something like that in school?
You can't like
I read a chapter in my book on if someone dies in your arms because of major
actually
trauma.
They have that in special forces training. They actually have that. That's actually covered.
Yeah.
It's not just that's covered. There's a lot of things covered that most people don't really, nothing that you can really talk about. There's a lot of stuff covered in those classes. People think it's all when you're training, it's all just guns and blowing up shit, which a lot of it is, but a lot of it is sitting through course after course after course. They want you psychologically that, like when I had to go to prison war camp twice, that's to make sure if you get captured that either you're not going to talk or it's going to make it really, really hard, which means you're going to get really, really screwed up. But they teach you a lot, and they teach how to deal with like when your partner flips out, especially if you're in the middle of combat or something. They teach that other than shooting them in the head. Because I'm gonna tell you a little secret. In the old days, that's what they told you. If you were in the middle of a mission and the guy just flipped out, they said to take him out, not to try to settle it down, just to take him out. A good friend of mine, David, who served in Vietnam, I was too young for Vietnam, was one of the ones he was A-team and he was serving in Laos. He said that was their first order. If a guy flipped out on one of the night missions, they just took him out. But no ifs, ands, and buts. He wasn't going home. That was the end of that. They taught us different. At least they tried to teach us different. And people don't realize there's other things that you're carrying on you a lot of times. Some of the guys who are carrying mini med kits, sometimes there's stuff in there you can hit them with and just knock them out. You'd be surprised.
Everybody's got the med kits now. I mean,
not these. They don't. You're not getting these, but it's the problem is there's so much of it. It's so secret. And I haven't been in the service in 40 years, and there's still stuff to this day I can't talk about. And even when I was out at SP and was just doing regular duty aboard the Nimitz, there's still stuff I can't talk about. It's a freaking amazing. It shouldn't be like that. I understand special forces stuff because there's some things that, frankly, the average person just isn't going to understand. But the other stuff, it's technology based. I'm like, come on, people. Spill your beans already. Let's move on to the next thing. It's spooky. It's scary. It's just what it is.
I guess it's good now, Katie. You got a stay-at-home husband or whatever he's doing. That
good.
You're able to have your family.
It's probably as good for his soul as it is for hers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has another career. We would kill each other if we were in the same house all day together. We did try that. There was a 6 months time period after he did hotshot firefighting in the mountains that he was home all winter with our baby and our 4-year-old, and that we were both like, nope. You need to go.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, it's rough. It's a rough transition. So yeah, he's much happier here, and I get to have the amazing life of like working from home, raising my family, taking care of my kids, and still like writing whatever books I want. It's pretty magical.
Yeah, anytime you get to do what you want is fabulous.
You've written how many books?
Novels, 50 or over 50 or 60. Titles, including short stories or novellas or whatever. It's I think over 100 at this point, or approaching. sort of stopped keeping track of it.
Yeah. So one thing, Joe, about Katie, because I met her at a convention, but that's one of your big things you do. You're very hands-on. You're very you're very personal. You like people, and it really shows. And the fans just come up there, and they're enamored with you, which is great. So that's something that makes you also very special as an author. That probably also helps to build your base of fans, because you got word of mouth. I mean, I'm an example. You know, I've said multiple times, you know, how much I enjoy your writing and what a great person you are. So I think that's something too that I'd like you to talk about, because other authors, well, my job was just to write the books, and the publisher, they're going to be the ones that are going to put it out there and do everything for me. But the real magic, at least from my, because I've interviewed, we just posted episode 350 or 360 on the podcast. So I've interviewed a lot of people over the years, and, you know, I've seen all kinds. And to me, your category of author is my favorite, because you're just so much more personable, and you can get out there and you meet people. And that's the people I also look for. Those are the guys that become the judges for the contest.
Oh,
cool. They're interested in helping other people, and they themselves are successful. But anyway, so talk about that, like why conventions is so important to you, because you attend a lot.
Yeah. So one of my main like factors through driving my company is just I serve my readers. Like every decision that I make has to serve my reader, whether that's a marketing channel or the book I'm going to write, or if I go to a con, how do I serve my reader? And I take that a step further sometimes to even say, well, I want to go to this con, but I have two options, and I know that there are more readers in option A versus option B. So I'm going to reach out to them, and we're going to do option A. And then I set up some kind of way to meet them and be able to serve them somehow. So I think the mindset isn't I write books. The mindset is I serve readers, which actually completely changes the trajectory of everything in the company, because serving readers goes actually beyond writing books. Because after, I don't know, 12 years, 14, I don't know, 12 years in this industry, I've realized that what readers really want is me. They want access to the author in addition to the books, of course, right? Like, and some people just want the books. They don't really care about the author, which I appreciate that too. But it's like, it sounds really gauche to say they want a leader, because they're living their own lives. They're doing just fine. But they do want someone that they can follow, that they can be part of, that they can talk to, that they can feel seen by. And that is something that I've tried to really lean into through conventions, especially because I get to be face to face with them and sign their books and meet them. And I'm a very visual person, so I can remember faces really well. I don't always remember names very well.
Sure.
So I can see their faces and remember them from year to year. So that has been amazing for me as well. I feel like it's kind of a selfish endeavor, because I'm an extrovert by nature, which is a blessing. Most writers are introverts. I get to like see these people and feel their energy for Bianca and my other books. And that just drives me to then answer the question better. Like, well, this time at Dragon Con, this and this happened and it worked really well. So let's do more of that. And I get excited to like serve the readers in that way, so to speak.
Yeah. So when you do your research on stuff, because I know fantasy is, I mean, it's fine. A lot of fantasy is like you created your magical form, your magical laws that you've got there, which are different than other magical laws, which you've been able to do, because you've got these, what are these little things that have powers from some gods or something like that?
Grimoires. Yeah. So the magic originates in grimoires. So there's like different grimoires that create different magic systems. So a witch, like in the world of Alcara, everyone's a witch and can do magic. So they might find a grimoires on household cleaning, or they might find a grimoire that's like resurrecting souls. Like it could be anything, which allows me no end to magic systems and plot ideas, right? Right.
So how do you think that? Because it's so different than other ones. I mean, I've got like Brandon Sanderson does his thing with, you eat different kinds of metals and you get different kinds of powers there. That's the thing there. But with Witch World series with Andre Norton, that's the different. there's a guy from Earth who goes through this portal, ends up on this other witch world where there the normal technology is magic. And so his technology of science doesn't work there. It's not the big deal there. So it's just, and what she created there, Andre Norton created, was fantastic. And McCaffrey, she never called it fantasy, with her dragon series. She said, no, this is science. I said, okay, good. We had many discussions on that over root beer. So how'd you evolve your magical system?
It really came with time and testing and just layers. So I get all Shrek on people and say that writing is like onions. Onions have layers, right? Just like Donkey and Shrek. And what I have found is Alcara, the world that I mostly have invested in this far, I have other ones now, but Alcara is my Leviathan. These layers like just happened sort of a page and a story at a time. I was working on Bianca and Miss Mabel's School for Girls, and I didn't have any idea that grimoires came from goddesses that harness around magic. I didn't know any about that. I just followed the story and stayed with it. And then by necessity, as my series advanced and I opened the scope a bit more for you to see more of Alcara, I understood, I've got to figure some big stuff out to be able to build the little. I need a better foundation. And so I just kind of had to say, well, what do I need to know to finish this story? And what do I keep vague so I don't write myself into a box or a corner, and I keep it open? So it was really just iteration over time, that slow building of, I wanted a Brandon Sanderson style-esque in that I could, he's got the Cosmere, he just writes something and attaches it anywhere. I wanted that sort of feel for the people that wanted to sit in and stay, but allowed me to be different and exciting and new. Now that I've written so much, it's a question of how do we do new and better and different? So a lot of the pressure is then on me to look at everything that I have and then say, but how do we make it different? Which is actually really fun. It just takes longer because you have to kind of iterate and look at what you have and be really open about it, so I can figure out how I'm not just repeating the same story, which a lot of authors tend to do.
Yeah. Do you read a lot to be able to just keep yourself up to speed and make sure that you're embracing, that's a clever idea, or this is a way to introduce a character, or this is how to do the suspense stuff? Or do you do that? Are you well read yourself?
I am well read. I don't read every day. I don't need to read in order to keep my motivation up. I do like to read books and then be like, that worked, or whoa, that's kind of fun. But I actually do other things to get away from writing in order to sort of keep myself in it. So I listen to just podcasts that are fun, like a Sasquatch podcast, or a DIY home renovation, or whatever, things that have nothing to do with my writing world, because my brain refills itself then. However, there are times when I get really specific within the genre that I write in and say, okay, this book is all over TikTok. My readers are talking about this book, within my community. I'm going to go read this book and then ask my readers, what did you love about this? What did you hate about this book that isn't mine, as a form of market research, so that I can be specific to it. So, Fourth Wing is really big in fantasy and dragons, and readers that read my books love Fourth Wing. For the most part. So I kind of went into that, what did you love about it? And I read it and just kind of mentally took notes and paid attention to that. And then other big books like Sarah J. Maas, so that I'm keeping track of the genre and the flows in general. But I do it very almost data minded. I don't go into it as a reader. I'm going into them as an author to kind of study, what has she done here? What has he done here? And then I ask my readers their thoughts on it. And I just keep that information in my head as I form my new ideas, if that makes sense.
Yeah. It's it's just interesting how other people do it. I know that because this was spawned off of Writers of the Future, because we had when we started the podcast multiple years ago, and when Joe invited me to be syndicated into his network with the podcast, he then, because I had all these other authors, I had judges and winners and all types of people, he'd invite them on to the various shows, and he started getting complaints from his host saying, wait a minute, this is a show on UFOs. Why are you talking with an author? Or this is a show on science. Why are you talking to an author? And this is politics. Why are you talking to an author? So then he said, okay, we're going to make Saturday our creative day with writers and stuff like that. So we had the podcast, and then we got the Authors Quill. We went back and forth, what we're going to call it. And so then he decided on the Authors Quill, which is great. And I mean, the first show was it was under 50,000 listeners, I think, Joe.
Yeah, last time I checked, we were somewhere in the 4 million range
right now. Yeah,
so give or take, a penny or two. But yeah, it's amazing how fast it grew. I mean, before I met John, I'd probably already interviewed more than probably close to 1,000 authors, and since then we've probably done another close to 1,000. Just on this show, any given week we're doing 2. So that's and we do 50 shows a year. So I mean 50 shows a year. So it's 200 authors a year. It only takes 5 years to reach 1,000. Don't take long. Plus we're doing other stuff like when we're out, starting in January, we'll be doing the Writers of the Future Award stuff. So we'll be doing 4 at a time, just so everybody can get to know each other. And then when we're there, both of us, not just us, other people as well, will be doing interviews. These poor authors and these poor illustrators, they get their first real taste of what friendly press is. It's hard press because there's a lot going on. We ask a lot of questions, and I'm a nosy SOB. But it's still friendly press. We're not out to, and we give them an idea how to deal with unfriendly press. It's always somebody out there that just feels the need to criticize. I watch people criticize stuff sometimes, and I'm like, there was nothing even remotely wrong with any of that. Why would you criticize it? Just because you had to feel the need to criticize, and there wasn't no other reason for that. But you sound like you. I like to get out and see my audiences. Any chance I get, I like to get out, and that's why I like to do lectures. I get to actually get in the field, and it's different for me because somebody asked me, "Well, why do you do that?" And I understand because any given lecture is going to be 200 or 300 people. Most biggest one I think I have a lecture to is like 1,500, and that's a big lecture. But shit, this show's going to do. I do 5 shows a week on this show, totaling almost 20 million listeners. I can sit here on my butt and talk to the world, or drive around the country, or fly around the country and talk to a handful of people. But I like the face-to-face. You never know who you're going to meet.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool, the unknown of it, and then what they will end up meaning to myself or other people is cool. My readers tend to create their own friendship groups out of meeting each other. Like my readers, we would do Coffee with Katie. We do it once a month now, but we meet on Zoom, and they ended up, when I had to back down from weekly, they would meet by themselves. They would go do their non-coffee with Katie, non-Katie coffee with Katie. But they even we've run GoFundMe's. One of them, we lost a reader named Debbie, and one of my other readers drove out to be with her as she was in the hospital before she was dying, and they met through me. There's just all kinds of stories where they meet each other and become friends. And another one of my readers went to my other reader's play. She drove 10 hours to go to a play he directed, really amazing stuff. So me meeting them is really great for me and the readers, but then they get this whole other family. And a lot of my readers tend to be isolated that are drawn to this because they're looking for friendship. They're looking for a place to go.
Looking for friendship.
Yeah.
I know when we do tables, I still matter of fact, last year one of the lectures the guy said, "You need 2 tables, don't you?" I said, "I can't sit at 2 tables, so we're only going to be able to do 1." But I mean, we had a nice big table. I think we had about 18 people at it, and but it's the most you can get in there. But my favorite thing to do is when I do lectures, and I'm actually well known for this, is I will go sit on the end of the stage so everybody can get up close and do the lecture that way. And that way they feel like they're getting more hands-on. And I always give at least 45 minutes of quick Q&A. Always. It's that's really what they want. I can lecture all day long and they're glad to hear it. It's just like we're writing a good book, they're gonna be glad to hear, but they would rather hear that lecture. They would rather hear that Q&A than that lecture anytime.
So most of your lectures, is it the UFO stuff or is it the politics?
It's 50-50 these days.
Because he's, just so you know, so Katie, he's the top ufologist in the United States, and Congress has called last year, called him out twice, flew him up to DC twice to testify before Congress and the Joint Chiefs of Staff
because I know things I'm not supposed to know.
My dad has recently gotten into this, and he has a YouTube station, so I'm excited to tell him because he'll know you for sure.
We started out doing God, so long ago. I hate to even admit how long ago it was. It was a long time ago. We started out just chasing UFOs, and I was talking to a friend of mine, and I said, you know what? We're never going to get to the bleeping truth about bleeping anything, chasing bleeping lights in the sky. He's like, chill. I said, we're not going to. We're going to have to talk to the people who say they've seen things, so they might lead us to people, in the military or the government. But you want to know what helped me the most was getting that outrageous security clearance when I was in the Navy. It opened doors for me in places. It was just surprising. I was bitching because I was trying to get hold of some information about a particular project, and the guy said, "You get a Class 10 clearance, just ask." And so I asked, and they gave it to me.
Wow.
I was like, "You're bleeping kidding me." And then I met Senator McDonald way back when. He turned me on. He gave me a lot of information because I helped him. He saw something, and he didn't know what it was. And finally got hold of me because I kept refusing to talk to him because I thought it was a scam. He finally got hold of me. I talked to him. I said, "No, it's one of ours. It's a TR3B. We've been having them for about a decade." He said, "Joe, it can't be ours." He said, "You do know I'm the appropriation guy for all the military stuff in our country, right? Top secret. That's me." I said, "Well, I'm telling you now, it's ours." About 6 months later, he sends me a vanilla envelope, big, thick, packed with all kind of stuff in it. And he said, "I'm going to take care of this once and for all." So I guess he found out it was going on in his watch. He wasn't happy. It just wasn't. But it opened up, that kind of things open up doors for you. And I've learned to keep my mouth shut on some things when I learn things. It's better just not to tell the public. One, because the public don't always react good to it. And two, if people learn to trust you, they'll tell you a lot more. So and it's like, how you were talking about you go hanging with the people. So last time I was in DC, time before last I was in DC, I got to sit down and have lunch with Edgar Mitchell and Buzz Aldrin. Actually, it was a couple of times before that. And sit down with them, a couple of pilots who had seen things, and we talked about everything they had saw and all their experiences. So it's the other way. In this case, I'm the hero worshiping guy here, I'm like, wait, tell me this again. It's like a kid in a candy store. It was fabulous. And now I finally understood why when people want to come talk to me how they felt about it. And it kind of changed my actual view on it. But I'm telling you what, they told me stuff there that I was like, what? You're kidding me, right? So I asked him point blank. I said, "Was Neil Armstrong telling us the truth?" He said, "You're damn right. Why do you think we didn't go back in that place again?" I was like, "I didn't want to hear that." That's not what I wanted to hear. I want to hear, yeah, of course it was a fake, man. That's what I wanted to hear. Oh man, stuff like that just blows your mind. But you see, I was talking with a good friend of mine, an author, the other day. It's all good writing material because I'm a big fan of near now sci-fi. So I'm always bugging sci-fi writers to write something near now. Come on, write something. I don't care what it is. Just write it. Well, I mean, I don't know how hard it is for you, but after or during Katrina and during COVID and after COVID, I noticed a lot of my friends who were in, let's just say, the arts community in general, got really busy. Got really busy. Because what happened was, I think, is Netflix and Hulu and everybody ran out of stuff. We'd all been home for so long, just, staring at the TV. I think they just ran out because, they started going to sources that you would not think they would go to. And I was surprised, but quite a few of them have made quite a bit of money now. And they're not talented. I love them. I love them to death, but, unfortunately for them, I've had to do a lot of reading in the last decade or so. And I don't know how they sold that stuff.
Yeah, COVID was interesting because so many people didn't have to work, or they were stuck at home, or they needed an extra form of escape or whatever. It was very lucrative for the first 9 months of that year. For me, I was running ads. There's a lot of reasons I did really well, but I was running Facebook advertising, and so many advertisers dropped their marketing budget because everyone was just stuck at home. Yeah. But I have an e-commerce store, and so I was doing thousands of dollars a day in ads and just hand over fist pulling in new readers for especially that first 3 months when it was more strict at home. And then after, the market changed pretty quickly by the end of that year. But from what I remember, and for my company, this was mirrored in others, it was a very good year for authors, depending on their business model, because so many people were out at home, or like they were out of the workforce and they were home and needed something to do. And
they needed something. I mean, because fortunately, I own a construction company. I was considered an essential worker, so my guys still got to work. But even for us, even still getting to work, it was still pretty boring. Because you know what? A lot of people didn't want to let us in their house. We knock on their door and they're like, you got a mask? I said, yeah, we go. Put on the mask, put on the thing, and the whole 9 yards. We even had these special face plates. They're like, no, you can't. I said, okay. I said, is everything fine? I said, you know, if you don't let somebody in, your AC is going to go out, right? Or your heater's going to go out, or you're going to get a big leak all over your house. One lady, you could see the water pouring from underneath the sink, and she wouldn't let us in the house. I said, you're going to have to leave and let us in this week. You're fixing to flood your neighbors. You got to let us in there. But it was crazy. But, you know, so many of my friends were either illustrating or writing, and they were selling. And they weren't selling before Katrina. I mean, before COVID. They just weren't selling. It was, and then I don't know what, you know, I talked to Mark the other day. He's still doing good, but he's got a decent imagination. He's how can I say that he writes historic love stories or just wait, that's not the word I'm looking for. Anyway, he writes love stories from like the 1800s and 1700s is what he writes. And apparently he's pretty good at it from what I have. Never read one, not going to read one. It's not my cup of tea. It's just not going to happen. But still, I've been fascinated to see the turn and how many more people have finally got interested back into reading again. But see, for me, it's impossible. I can't read. I have to do audiobooks, and John knows that. But I just can't squeeze in the time anymore to sit down and read a book. It's just if I'm sitting here reading a book, then all this other stuff I got in front of me is not going on. So it has to be going on. So what I do is now, if somebody sends me an audiobook, I just clip it in, turn it on, stick it in my ear, and go to whatever I was doing. Go back to work for what I was doing. So I can multitask. It's not a big deal, and it works really well for me. And a lot of people I talk to would prefer an audiobook. Now, I haven't really pushed them on what kind. Do you want just someone reading to you, or do you need all the bells and whistles? I can go either way. As long as a good voice, I can go either way. Now, if it's something like voice, it's not going to work. Or like Microsoft saying that's not going to work for me. But a decent voice, I can just sit and listen to a good story. But then John always sends me all the bells and whistles, so he's spoiling me. I mean, the last two he sent me, he's definitely spoiling me. Mission Earth was fabulous. I mean, hit every little bell and whistle. I don't know, God, we lost. But how many was it? 200,000 sound effects in this thing? It was insane.
It's a lot. It's in the Battlefield Earth. But for me, I like audiobooks, but I read so much faster, and I've got to get through the books. So I'll read. You know, I'd like to have the luxury of being able to listen to an audiobook. But even lately, when I've been flying, I will read it on the Kindle because I can go through really fast. And then if there's a word I don't know what it is, I can highlight it and look it up real fast and just keep moving and, get through the various books, especially when it's these techno thrillers on stuff like that. But do you write science fiction too, Katie?
No, I stick pretty much with a form of fantasy. I have a romantasy series. I have the YA fantasy, which is Alcara, and then I've done some like clean contemporary romance. But those are my three main genres. Yeah,
that's one thing I like too. Is you said the word clean. That's something too that from what we publish with Hubbard too, because his stuff is like PG, maybe PG-13 type stuff, which I like. And with Writers of the Future, we'll go up to PG-17, but we don't get anything that's going to be, if there's any sex, it's off the page.
Yeah.
There's no vile profanity. The super violent stuff is, again, we keep that tone down there so that, it's appropriate for middle school on up.
Yeah.
And I read so much. For me, I don't appreciate all this stuff because my imagination is really good. I know what a beautiful woman is. I know what an amazing dog or horse or all that stuff is, rugged terrain. So I don't need somebody being very graphic about certain things that my imagination does really well with, which is one of the reasons why I also liked your writing, because you put enough stuff in there that I could fill in the imagery with my own experiential track that, okay, I can deal with that and I can relate to her, and the various other characters and her good friends. When I was going through high school, I had 2 of my close friends. We did everything together.
Yeah.
3 totally different kinds of people. Totally
Mhm.
different. You know, like your folks are.
Oh, wow.
But it's
Wait,
it's just something that's like, it's really, really good. And like with Writers of the Future, now I know we talked briefly about it when you were on the podcast, but because this year is the year we break 1,000 winners, year 42. And for science fiction, it's a special significance too, because of the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, the Life Universe and everything is 42. So, but
what are you doing there?
with respect to the content, we talked about a little bit, but
I got to stop y'all for a second. I forgot. I got to do this right quick. Okay, people, I forgot, y'all. I'm way behind on giving away my lightsaber. I had to give away 3 of them last night. That's how far behind I am. We're going to give away 2 tonight while we're on the show. We're going to give away 3 in the next show. So I'm just to tell y'all real fast. Okay, let me where did the thing go? So I'm not going blind here. So we're going to give away Luke Skywalker's first lightsaber. It's a green one right there in the middle, and we're going to give away Obi-Wan Kenobi's blue lightsaber.
So where do I enter, Joe?
No, I'm not telling you where to enter. Anyway, you got to enter at iCard at cox.net.
Okay, good. I'll go iCard.
That's where you go. Yeah, we gave away 3. Actually, we gave away 4 last night. I'm sorry. We gave away 4 of them last night. Everybody had a blast. We gave away. I gave away in the middle of the show. Didn't tell anybody till the end of the show. Actually, some people they didn't find out till after if they had won or not. And we'll re-announce them tonight on the other show. These run about $400 a piece, and give or take a penny or 2. They came down a little bit from last year. They were a little bit higher last year, but they did. What's it, Jimmy? No, they're around $400 a piece, if I remember right.
Well, the one on the left there is $599, and the middle one is $400, and the one on the right is $250.
Yeah. So yeah, see, John's reading the prices for y'all. It's I'm not even looking for that. I'm actually looking for something. There it is.
I'm trying to earn my keep so I can enter.
So y'all should know what this is. This is an old Luke Skywalker. I think this was his first one. And so y'all can go chop up your kids. You see mine right here. I chase my dogs around the house with it all the time. My dogs get Skywalkered all the time. And actually, my little dog tried to eat it one day because she hates it. She's like, "That's got to go, Daddy." But anyway, you get that one, and then we're gonna give away. I think it's 2 of those, and this one right here. Oh no, that's right. We're giving away both of them twice. So we're giving away 2 of these. This is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and we're giving away 2 of the other ones, which is Luke Skywalker. Now that's it. That's all y'all get to see him. Boop. Now I'll tell you, they come with the fighting blades on them, like this one has on it, so you can whack it with stuff. Okay, because the blade that originally came on here was beautiful glass, and it would have cracked. I would have had it a day. I would have broke it. And most everybody who owns one of these would break it, because most of y'all are going to be banging stuff up. It comes with the full sound effects package, so you can hear everything. And you can even go to the sword fighting school if you want to really sword fight with each other, saber fight with each other. There's actually classes for it. Don't ask me, people. I don't get involved in none of that. I'm just giving the damn things away. So what's that, Chris? No. So if you can tell me what I'm going to give 4 of them away on this one question, but I'm going to give it away on different numbers. It's just going to be a random drawing. If you can tell me what the last word spoken in the New Hope was, you have a chance of winning a lightsaber. The last word spoken. It's not that hard to find out. You'd be surprised. It is. You'd be surprised. But anyway, back to you, Katie. Nice to talk to you again.
End, as in the end. Okay.
No, that's not what it was, actually. And actually, I'm sorry. It's not the last word spoken. It was the person who spoke the last word. I apologize. I'm glad John said that, because I messed that question up, and then I'd had to hear him whine about it. No, they put these questions together. I actually asked a couple of hosts to put different questions together, just so I give, and then they send me the answers to them. Yeah, I get to cheat. I get to cheat. No, we got 16, 18 more to give away before Jan 3rd. So Jan 2nd. I'm sorry, we'll give them all away by then. I've been just popping into host random shows and say, "Hey, let me give away a lightsaber." They're like, "What are you like? Shut up, you host. I'm the boss. I'm giving away a lightsaber." But it's a lot of fun. It really is. And I'll tell you what, them Kylo Rens, which we gave away last night, they were $999 a piece, and that ain't. And the guy ships them from England, so Matter of fact, the only place we've had problem with any kind of shipping, whether I'm shipping out books or we're shipping out lightsabers, is Canada. Canada's lost its mind.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of friends in Canada, including my station manager, but they have lost their mind. So I was getting ready to send out 3 books the other day. And son of a gun, they were $140. I was like, wait, what? For what? I said, I guess this person gave 1 book. And that was still $65. Now, granted, it was L. Ron Hubbard's Writers of the Future, book 37. I mean, it's, it's as thick as this is. But I mean, it's no bigger than that.
It was $60 to send that book to Canada?
Yeah. I guess it's because of where I was sending it, but
is it related to all the strikes they're having? Like they have all those
that and the tariffs.
Emails.
Yeah, you got dual problems going on in Canada right now. You've got strikes, unfortunately, that started, and then you've got tariffs from the United States. So
I mean, we were talking. Well, we were also talking to her Emily's brother there, said the amount of unemployment because they brought in so many of the within No Borders, so all these people coming in there getting many jobs. There's so much unemployment right now in Canada. It's just crazy because he said it's so hard. There's so many people on the streets now.
True.
Not like it used to be.
Well, my boss lives up there, so that's where she lives. That's our station managers in Toronto, along with her host. And then we got hosts in Toronto. We got them in Vancouver, BC. We've got them in in Saskatchewan and somewhere else. 2 other places we have them, but yeah, Jimmy, we have them all over the damn world. We have hosts right now in 7 countries. Yes. It's the new world. We don't have to have all that fancy dancy stuff to do radio anymore. If you would have seen the original studio for this station when I started it, you would have been like, what the? So there were different kind of speakers on the wall. There were preamps running through. There's all kind of wires. They have all kind of special 18-karat gold. So thing, ooh, when you hooked it together, 24-karat. It was a pain in the you-know-what.
Yes.
And it took 16 computers to run it. Today it takes 3.
So now, Katie, so you're good to still be here because I want to make sure you're not getting you got 10 people lining up around there to say, Mommy or Katie or hi.
I texted my neighbor who's watching my kids, and I got about 20 minutes. As long as I can pick them up at the half hour, we should be just fine.
Okay, good.
Oh, you got heathens? Oh, I feel for you.
I have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old. Yeah.
Oh my God, I feel double hard for you.
Unlike you, Joe, she's a very loving mother.
I'm a very loving father. Just mine's 38 now. That's all.
Oh yeah, the 7 and 10 are the fun ages, if you ask me.
Yeah,
they like me. They want to hang out with me. Yeah. They're super fun right now.
I think the great grandkid is 8. All the grandkids are anywhere from 19 to 40. Yeah, figure that one out. Hey, Mark, how you doing there, man? Sorry to just throw you in the middle of us like that.
Hey, throw me in. That's all right. How you doing, Joe?
Yeah, I'm pretty good. We found out Katie's a witch, so we're all scared not to say anything. And I'm waiting for the wine to come out next. Man.
You got a lightsaber, so you'll be fine.
That's right. We're good. We deflected. It's crazy, but I mean, today's world is getting stranger and weirder by the day. And I don't mind the weird stuff. I really don't. The stuff that might blow us up, I get a little nervous about. But the rest of it, not so much. You can't lose your mind over some stuff.
So Mark, welcome. So Mark is a winner in volume 42 being published next year. I'm just curious, Katie, did you ever enter the contest, or did you ever know about Writers of the Future when you were starting off?
I found out about it later. I think I was a couple years into my publishing journey when it first came up, and I saw what it was and what you guys offered.
And you said, okay.
Jamie missed out because they're a lot of fun as a group.
Yeah, it seemed like, then I met a lot of friends that are in that world and group, and I was like, oh, it's too late for me. It's awesome.
Yeah. Once you pro out, adios amigos. But
yeah. The thing on it is that because your type of writing style fits in really well with that, with the other type of stuff that we have. I'm sure you're familiar with some of our judges. Jody Lanai is our coordinating judge, but Orson Scott Card, he's been a judge for 40 years. Kevin Anderson's been well over 30, 35 years. And then Frank Herbert was a judge originally, author of Dune. When he passed, we got his son on board. Anne McCaffrey was a judge. Now her son Todd is a judge. Just some really wonderful people, just very beautiful people that are just very creative themselves, that just really want to be able to see that for them, they love welcoming new writers into the world.
Yeah.
Lucky for us.
Yeah, definitely. They love seeing it. Like Scott Card would say, yeah, I need to have books to read too, and
I haven't met him yet. I think I know most of the other people. Jody and I have been on some panels. I know Kevin well. I don't know Frank Herbert's son. So I think a bunch of them I'm friends with outside of it. So I learned through them just the whole program.
Yeah, you got to watch out for the Coca-Cola guy, man. I think he can write a couple of books here and there.
Yeah, Tim Powers.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's won the World Fantasy Award winners 3 times, and he loves teaching. He's just he's been since the very beginning, so he's
a lot of fun to listen to too.
So where are you all? Like, I'm in Florida. Where are you?
I'm in Hollywood.
Okay.
Where you'll be in April. And then Katie.
I'm in Montana.
Oh, lucky.
Where nobody lives but her. Ain't nobody lives. Damn. I've been to Montana 3 times. I went through the whole state one time. I drove like 6 hours, never even seen another soul interstate. I was like, where are we in alien territory?
Busy day. Busy day.
You know what? The only thing that was worse was Wyoming. I used to think Texas was the worst state to drive through. And then I met Montana. And then I met Wyoming. I'm like, oh my God, how y'all do this?
No one out here.
I'm in Henderson Point, Mississippi right now. Sometimes I'm in New Orleans. Sometimes I'm here on the coast. Right now I'm on the coast. So this is where I prefer to be, actually. We slowly but surely moving everything that we have left out of the city up here. But it's nicer up here. It's quieter. It's more peaceful. People are nice. I don't have Mardi Gras running by the side of the studio and the walls going as they go by and stuff.
Yeah, I have to mute my microphone because I'm right 15 feet behind me is Hollywood Boulevard, and the Chinese theater is about 100 yards that way. So, there's always this, and so I reach up here and push the little mute button as the sirens and the ambulances go back and forth. And good old home, be it ever so humble.
Yeah,
y'all are you to an In-N-Out?
Yeah.
The In-N-Out is 1 block that way. It's the biggest In-N-Out in
In-N-Out is a fantasy in California. I've never seen one, never ate one. I think it's just I've been to California like 30 times, never ate at one, never seen one. I'm telling you.
3 weeks ago we had our Hollywood Christmas parade here because we're the host for it. We had a couple hundred celebrities here in our building as the green room. And then In-N-Out brings a big semi-trailer. They drive up next to the red carpet, and they set up the whole shop there, and they cater the whole place with In-N-Out. And what's really funny is we used to get, because some of these guys are really hoity-toity, these celebrities. And so, no, I'm vegan, I'm this, I'm that. And we'd have all these fancy foods and stuff. And then one time we ran out, so I said, we have to get something. So I sent 2 cars out, one to this one here and one a couple miles away to In-N-Out and get 50 burgers each. So they brought them back. In-N-Out. They just totally
took it.
Yeah. So the following year, then we got them to cater. So they do that. They and it's just amazing. It's just been this is our 3rd year that we had them, and it's just amazing how much people love the In-N-Out the double.
One of these days, I'm gonna get one of these mysterious burgers.
Well, April, you're gonna get one, Joe. Emily and I will take you to get.
I didn't even properly tell you where you're at. So one of the reasons we're out of New Orleans, we still broadcast New Orleans. We broadcast on 107.7 in New Orleans. We also broadcast on 105.3 in Pass Christian, Mississippi, which is a strange place. We broadcast on about 225 live podcast channels, along with, of course, Facebook and YouTube and X and a whole bunch of those. And I think we're on 44 social medias. And then on top of that, right now you're on Roku television and Fire Stick TV. So you're actually on real television. You can turn yourself on your 70-inch and watch it right now. And if you can't, if for some reason you ever can't find yourself in Roku or on Fire Stick, we're actually on Rumble too, which is actually on all of those apps. Now you can find us. I always like to mess with my host. I'll go get on the big TV in the front, the 70-inch. I said, it looks kind of weird. She said, how can you see that? I said, I got you in a 70-inch TV zoomed in. Hosts hate when I do. They hate when I do that because I mean you can literally see everything in the because we're broadcasting at 4K, so I mean you can see everything. Your little pimple hair back there, you can see the little hair on the cat going by, man. I'm just saying,
Right.
it's insanity what you can see.
This is the Authors Quill, not the pop pimple show.
Authors have Kit Kat. Oh, you were saying about being extroverted, inverted, and I'll ask Mark about this in a second. But so I'll tell you a little secret I found over the years. The authors who have not won or not become full blown authors yet are very chatty. They're very extroverted. I mean, you can't shut them up. on an average interview. So if I get an illustrator, interview is going to be 15 to 30 minutes. If I get an author, hour and a half to 2.5 hours every time. Every time. I'm amazed. I was amazed because I thought it was going to be the other way around. I got to be honest. When I first started doing this, now we've interviewed a bunch of them, but then when you get to the pro authors, they get very introverted. They don't want to talk. You got to pull stuff out of them. But when you get to the pro illustrators, you can't shut them up. It's just weird. So they start out all quiet, nothing saying nothing, and all of a sudden they like. Matter of fact, one of them was hosting with us for a while. She's a coordinating judge for the illustrators. She can chat good. I mean, so can Tom Wood. They can both chat. Matter of fact, all the damn illustrators can chat. It was just weird because when you get into the pro authors, they're a little, we'll just say a little less chatty. Leave it at that. I mean, you get them to talk, but not as it's a little more work. That's all. So Mark,
we're about ready to lose Katie here, so because she's got her kids, she has to go get.
The demon children.
Any final advice you'd like to give, Katie, to writers? Because this is still it's the writers of the future that kind of like inspires this stuff, and that's how I originally met you. So what would you already gave you one advice, so but anything else to expand on that? Because it's to me, it was you had like 3 paragraphs. You didn't give me 3 paragraphs when we started.
You cheating, man. You cheating.
I know. I think I failed the test to see if I equaled the same advice as before. So my first advice that we talked about earlier was to pay attention to your mindset. So you stop the self-sabotage, right? So you're not making decisions out of fear and you're actually looking at what you're doing. I think the second advice that I'd give, which is kind of my next secret to success for now, I mean, they always change, is really build up a network of people that it really is being in the room with the right people and being a good person to those people matters. So as much as I serve my readers, I try to serve other people as well. If I'm on a podcast, how can I help your listeners? What do they want? Just different ways of taking the idea of serving my readers. I turned it to serving other people in my industry and building up the people that I'm in the room with, because it makes me want to be a better person, right? And then we are all helping each other and success grows, the rising tide lifts all boats kind of thing. I love the idea of people really just looking at how can we serve each other and making stuff happen. It's pretty cool.
It's cool. That's very cool. And it's definitely, like I said, why I think I had such strong affinity for you, because that's the whole, a lot of this some basic mantra for an operating basis for writers of the future and illustrators of the future, as it was originally set up by Orrin Hubbard, because he was doing that from the 30s and 40s.
Yeah,
he just sit down and help other writers, give them advice. There's books that we have here of letters back and forth between him and other authors, giving them advice. Okay, you can try this and this, and here's what you can do here. And a lot of the I don't know if did you ever see the online writing workshop that we offer?
No.
Yeah, we haven't. We've got videos from Orson Scott Card, Tim Powers, Dave Wolverton, Kevin Anderson, Nadia Corafor, and Robert J. Sawyer, and all the different parts of writing short stories and stories itself, and mystery, and all, how to start, how to change,
cool,
all kind of stuff of a story. Then there's 10 essays that Hubbard wrote in the 30s and 40s that were published in author magazines that he did to be able to help other guys. So I guess that's, like I said, why I have that strong affinity, because your mindset is so much like what we do with writers of the future. Want be able to help the other guy, and so I very much appreciate you taking time to chat with us today, Katie. And what do you recommend as your Katie Cross primer?
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was great to meet you, Joe. Very briefly meet you, Mark. And always great to talk to you, John. If you go to katiecrossbooks.com, you can subscribe and get my first book for free in ebook or audio. So it's Miss Mabel's School for Girls. That's the one we've been talking about with Bianca Monroe. That has 12 others. It's in Hollywood, all that kind of stuff. That's the best place to start for sure.
Great. Thank you very much, Katie.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.
Nice meeting you, Katie.
Happy New Year. Yes.
Happy
Hello,
New
Mark.
Year.
So congratulations on being a winner.
Thank you. It's kind of been a whirlwind already, you know. And,
yeah. How many times did you enter the contest?
I entered it about maybe three times. Actually, I got honorable mention about 3 times. When Joni called me, I don't answer my phone. But if it's like, if I don't recognize the number, or I get too many spam things, so I don't answer. And it said Los Angeles, and I'm like, yeah, I don't know anybody there. I didn't answer it, and then I saw that whoever that was leaving a voicemail, and just later that night I went and looked at the voicemail, and it was her, and she said, "I know
evil Joni. Is that who it was? It was the evil Joni.
Yeah,
Joni
Labaki.
Yeah,
I don't know how you pronounce it.
you got good.
And she said, basically, it's important that I get in touch with you. It's very important. And she said, and Mark, it's good news. So that got me all excited. And finally, we hooked up. And so thus began my journey.
That's amazing. So you're second place winner with your story, Ghost Dog. So what's Ghost Dog about?
Ghost Dog is about a guy and his dog who are basically being invaded, haunted, whatever you want to call it, by this thing. And the dog is the one who noticed first. You know how dogs bark at stuff, and well, he's kind of like that, and he takes off. That I got awakened at night by this strange scratching through the walls, and the dog is going nuts, and that starts the story, and trying to figure out what it is, how I get rid of it, how to save my dog, and it's kind of a great ending, I think, of course.
Well, so do the judges, evidently.
Yeah, I guess they do. So yeah, it's a lot of fun.
How long have you been writing?
I've been writing since I was a kid. I was lucky enough to find advertising as a career. So I've been a copywriter, creative director in advertising, and a lot like James Patterson, without the success. But yeah, he was a creative director for J. Walter Thompson.
Yeah.
A huge ad agency. I worked at McCann Erickson, which is also a big ad agency, but and I did that long enough I always wanted to be a writer myself, just do my own thing, right? I don't like clients. I like to write my own stories, and so yeah, that's kind of what I mean. I got a ton of short stories. I have a few novels self-pubbed on Amazon, and it's kind of like living my bliss,
That's great. So do you mostly write fantasy?
I'm not positive what you call it. It always has I like a supernatural something to it. One day I wanted to write a monster. I wanted to write a monster book. So that was my first novel, and it's called Gator Man, set in the Everglades, because here I am in Florida. And
man, I got gators in my backyard, man. Come on now.
I got bears in mine. But so yeah, it was like a half man, half gator kind of. And I wrote a story about a YA novel. It's called throughthelight.com. That's the web address, is the title, and it's basically a website where you can talk to the dead. So whatever you call that kind of stuff, that's the kind of stuff I write.
Shit.
My last book is Overcooked, and that's a story about people that stay in the womb 12 months instead of 9. And so when they're born, theoretically, they're a little higher evolved, and they come out with certain skills, and so that's Overcooked. So
Well, that's an interesting concept.
that's what I write. Yeah.
So how much does your past as a copywriter for an ad agency, how much does that fit in with your story writing? Because it's a different type of writing style for sure. With, I mean, you've got your...
Of course. It's very spare usually. You don't get very flowery or anything like that unless that's the job. But
Right.
what it does do, especially as a creative director, is it makes you think up stuff. You have to come up with creative answers, and that's like dreaming up a concept to write about. So I got paid to do that.
Right.
So that was pretty wonderful. And you learn to edit. You have to edit to fit.
Yeah.
That's the job, and that was all the skills are there, and it's fun. It's fun.
Well, that's good. So were you doing that job from Florida?
No, I started that job in Atlanta. That's where I got into the business, and I worked with some of the big ones. I worked with McCann and Jay Walter, and I got I was pretty well respected up there. I got my Addys and my Clios and things like that. Then I had to move to Florida for personal reasons, and so I built up a network down here of people, and then I was an owner in an ad agency here for 10, 15 years. So yeah, I've pretty much seen it all.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. So what does winning Writers of the Future mean for you?
Here's the biggest thing to me. It's vindication. This is a very lonely thing when you write and you send your stuff out, or you send out queries trying to get an agent or whatever, and you never hear anything. They don't write you back. You don't really know how you're doing. You think you're doing pretty well. Like I've been in Florida Writers Association since I got to Florida, pretty much, and I found critique groups, and that started me. And Florida Writers has its own award system. They have what they call the Royal Palm Literary Awards, and
Yeah.
I've won 12 or 15 of those. And so you get rewarded, right? You get recognized for the skills and for your stories and your books and stuff. But that's very insular. It's like their own little bubble. Writers of the Future is gone way outside of that bubble. And
Exactly.
that's what it's done for me. Is I actually think I can do this.
That's great. What are you most looking forward to coming out to Hollywood?
I want to meet people. I'm always learning, and I expect to learn stuff. And I want to meet some biggies. I mean, if
Yeah, you will. I mean, we definitely have any of the biggies that you're most looking forward to meeting that are judges.
Orson Scott Card.
Yeah.
This
is his favorite end of the year. He's looking forward to coming again this year.
Oh man.
He's a blast to talk with too.
Yeah, and it's like I have gone to other writers' conferences, and the big thrill is actually being around people that are like you, that care about stupid things like pronouns, and that nobody cares about, right? And you can get into a heated argument about the comma, and that's kind of fun.
What the hell's a comma, man? I don't use them damn things.
Oh man, the first
You're lucky I use a period.
I wrote a story when I first got to this association and entered it, and I got second place, weirdly enough, and I was kind of pissed off because I only wanted first, and The reason was I didn't handle the dashes well. Like it was N dash, M dash, and
and hyphen. Those are the three things: hyphen, N dash, M dash.
Yeah, exactly. And I knew about them, but I didn't really give a crap about them. I just used what I felt would work. Oh no. So yeah, I bought a Chicago Manual of Style and started studying.
Yeah.
And it's good. I mean, you need to learn that stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. I also had a few weeks ago the podcast. I don't know if you're ever listening to the podcast, the Rise to Teacher podcast, but I had a guest, Ian Randall Strock, and he wrote a book which we talked about. It was called Punctilious Punctuation. We talked about the history of punctuation, where it came from, what it is, separating what all the different punctuations are and what they are and how to use them. But it's very enjoyable. It was a great read. And so that was our episode, I don't know, like 4 episodes ago or so in the on the podcast. It was episode number 346 or something like that.
I have a T-shirt that says "Punctuation saves lives." And it says, "Let's eat grandma," or "Let's eat grandma."
Yeah.
Yeah. The power of a comma.
Exactly.
I get in trouble because I write like
jibber jabber,
whole page. Just nothing in there. There's no periods, there's no commas, there's nothing. It's just a whole page. People write me, Joe, where does it start? Where does it start? I don't figure it out. What I said, figure it out. The only thing you got to watch is when I'm writing JoJo E's. Then it gets confusing.
Definitely.
Then you got to have known me for a few years and know what the hell I'm writing. Other than that, unfortunately, my brain works much faster than my fat little fingers do. And even on voice, it's still off. I've tried it a few times. I'm still off.
How long you been doing this, Joe? How long you been doing this?
Well, I've been doing radio. This show's only a few years old, but I've been doing radio for 2025, so about 27 years. And I've been doing TV right about 7 years now. So, yeah. But I was a general contractor for 35 years. I owned 2 companies, Maintenance Solutions and Bayou General Contracting, because I did both. We had a maintenance company and a contracting company. So between the two, they kept me quite busy. And then I also run a research org. So, free time was one of those. It's still easy. I'm retired, and free time still seems to be a fantasy.
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to be there. John keeps telling me he's going to retire and we're going to play golf, but I just don't see that happening. Just, I'm ready to go play some golf out in LA.
I'll be one of these ghosts in Mark's stories.
Yeah.
A friend of mine's like, she goes, when are you going to come play golf? She owns some big golf course in LA. And I'm like, I know you come down, you don't even come by and say hi, you don't get a cup of coffee, you don't come check out my golf course. I said, sweetheart, last time I hit a golf ball, I said, when we were young, we used to play golf. And then we get a little older, we got lazy, so we used to just go to the driving range, like 3 o'clock in the morning, drunk off our ass, hitting golf balls. I said, that's about the last time I've been at anything to do with golf.
Keep score that way.
Yeah, hey, it's fun, it's you can hit the farthest. It's we always had a good time, but it's like golf, though, in all fairness to everybody who plays it, is a really good place to meet people. It really is. You can meet all sorts of people on a golf course.
Yeah.
Rich, poor, and in between, but just a lot of business deals get done on a golf course.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just not a big fan of it. I'd rather sit at home, listen to something, read something, do something, work on something, mess with something. And if worse comes to worse, go blow something up.
Okay.
I get Martha out and say, let's go take a walk in the woods, Martha.
Martha's is it a Beretta or a 357?
No, that's a Canic. That's a specially designed Canic 9mm target pistol. It's made to kill you quickly. That's what it's made to do. No, Jack, it's actually made to kill Coke cans quickly. Okay, how's that? Does that make you feel better? Yeah, there you go. All this good stuff's all good writing material, though. Somebody asked me the other day if they could write my memoirs. I'm like, no, they'd put you in jail, dude. What are you wrong with you? This part of my life is classified.
So now, Mark, so you did I'm writing your short story. So did you start like when you're a little kid? Just I'm writing my story. And your first story was fan fiction, or how'd you evolve with your writing?
Well, I remember this distinctly. Being very young, I was 5 maybe, and I wanted to read so bad, but I didn't know how to read yet. I remember that. And there was a girl that was like 5 houses up. She's about a year or so older, and she could read. So she would come down and show off, and I wanted to read so damn bad. And kind of that got me into words and everything. Yeah, obviously I can learn now. I can read now. And I used to write poems. I started writing poems and giving them to girls. That was the start of my writing journey. They were no good, probably, but it was.
Step for the counts, man.
Yeah. So yeah, I read like crazy. Of course, I devoured all the books. Hardy Boys started there, and now I read everything. Ray Bradbury came to my college, University of California, and gave a speech. I got to sit in the audience and listen to Ray Bradbury. That was pretty exciting.
Yeah.
He sounds like an interesting character. I know they kind of burnt me out a little bit. I was in high school, private school actually, and they started this in junior high. We had our English. We had to do a book report a week, and they never did anything easy. It was always one of the classics, And then they would throw in stuff like Old Yellow or Where the Red Fern Grows, just to watch half the class crying their asses off trying to read the book. It's she was a really good English lit teacher, and she just believed that students should be proficient readers, not just readers, but proficient readers. And when I was young, I was. Now I'm like, plug that thing in my ear so I can read. It's Jimmy, if I have to read, I can read. I just don't like to do it anymore. I have to on a news show. I don't have a choice. Yeah, we do a lot of articles, so there's a lot of reading that goes on that show.
That's heartbreaking, Joe.
Yes. Well, I mean, I get time to, and I'm a big pusher of literacy, especially where I live in Louisiana, Mississippi, because you need to be. But these days, audiobooks only. That's all I get. It's all I can really do. I mean, these I read because I go and I'm going to be doing interviews. So, like, John will send me a copy, and I'll usually read it, and I'll read it on the airplane again, and I'll usually read a little bit every night, depending on who I'm interviewing while I'm in LA, just so the stories are fresh in my head. When I'm asking a question, because there's a lot of stories to keep track of.
Yeah,
but getting time to really sit down and enjoy a book, I don't get that anymore. But it's like when John sent me Mission Earth. I took a year. Well, actually, that's not exactly fair. I took a couple of months, and then I started over again because I kind of had forgotten some of it. So, but it's a good listen to. It's really nice. It's easy to just plug it in the phone, plug it in the car. I do a lot of driving, do a lot of flying, so I get to listen to them. Matter of fact, some lady asked me one, and she said, "What do you listen to? You seem to be very content." And I handed it an earbud. Actually, I handed it other earbud. She started listening with me. It was we were on the airplane. I noticed one from Beat. It's just people want something good to listen to. It's hard to read anymore because our lives have gotten so stupidly complicated that it's just hard, And when people read, they usually got this thing stuck in front of their face.
Yeah,
true.
I've got a book in my bedstand, but on here I have hundreds of books because I have to get through a book a week. So what's really nice, what I like about the Kindle, I gotta say this, is I'm reading along and all of a sudden I get some word like, what the heck does that mean? I push my finger and I highlight it, and then I can look up the word right away, and I don't get stuck. I don't, just get totally distracted and lose interest because now I know what he's talking about or she's talking about in her writing, and I'm able to keep going. So that's, to me, that's like such a good thing, because I won't, when I read or anything, I know that there's an amazing, horrific educational system that tells you just kind of like figure out what the meaning is, which is about as dumb as you can get. so a word has a meaning. You look it up, and that's what it is. Now you understand what the sentence is.
Yeah, and
It's
it
not the
makes
other
a
way
difference,
around.
and it makes a difference in stories a lot of times too.
Yeah, because now they could say he came out and was went looking for his sister at the crepe hustle, and before they went and had dinner, it's like you just make up what it is and don't realize that's at the sunset, when the sun's going down, when it starts getting dark, that's what that is. But if you don't know that, you can dub in whatever you want to and just
I think it's a cafe or something. Yeah.
yeah. So you just totally, and so but that's how a lot of schools teach how to study, and it's so destructive. And so you end up then with a generation of dummies that have a vocabulary of 1 to 200 words. And so now when you write, you've got to really dumb down what you're writing so they can actually even potentially
See,
read
now that I was lucky with. My mom was insistent that we learned a word a week. And it was, sometimes it was more. I mean, because we had a regular spelling crap we had to do in school, but she always wanted you to learn not, something fairly hard every week, not just how to say it, not just what it meant, how to spell it. She was a freak like that. And to her, missing a spelling test or missing a word on a spelling test was unacceptable. And I was like, Mom, she's like, no. I was like, all right.
Good for her.
And she was strict on, and I came from a very science or math oriented family. So I was, lucky in both areas, but she was strict on it because it wasn't that I wasn't good at English. I just found it boring. I was too ADDH at the time for something like that. Now it's fine, but back then I couldn't sit still long enough to enjoy stuff like that. But I could read. Back then I could sit and I read at warp speed. That's like my wife. You give her a book, I'll buy her a book and I'll come back like 3 hours later. I'm like, baby, how far are you in the book? I'm done. I'm like, what? I'm done. I'm like, you what? And she don't speed read. It's just how she reads. Now I took some speed reading courses when I was younger with schematic work that I used to do, but you can't really use that to enjoy a book because, believe it or not, a lot of those little words mean something. Or especially when you're leaving that stuff like it compile after in a good story, in a nice long story. Those little words eventually are going to take that story and turn it into something else. So I try not to do. That's why I prefer to just listen. It's easier, and I can enjoy it and have a good time. But I'm a hardcore pusher. There's not a lecture I do where someone doesn't ask me about writing. See, now I got known enough on the circuit that when I'm out there, they'll ask me about writers of the future. So they ask me about different judges and different things like that. And I always tell them the same thing. I said, I'm not here to do a lecture on writers of the future. Call John. Call Emily is always what I tell them. I tell call Emily. But you can. I said, I don't have a problem talking to y'all about it because these are college kids. I was at Ole Miss a couple weeks ago. I was in Tulane. I was at LSU. And they want to know. They're interested. They want to know how to submit. They want to know what's required. They want to know who's there. And when you start mentioning names, they know everybody. And these are Z-Geners. And I'm actually quite impressed that these Z-Geners and some millennials actually know what we're talking about here and actually know these different authors and know what's going on, because these are, like in Scott's case, that's 3 generations removed and they still know who he is. And I liked Ender's Game, but I didn't find it to be that great of a movie that, it would transcend that far backwards. So I was surprised, and it's nice. But they ask me all the time, what's involved, how you get involved. And most of the time they want to ask me if it's rigged or things like that. And I said, no, just join. I always tell them the same thing, though. You can't find out anything unless you win. So writersthefuture.com, go win.
Yeah. And Mark's took your advice, whether he knew he was getting from you or not. And he's coming out there.
It's my biggest thing. You can't win if you don't submit, you can't win.
Yeah.
Gene, you know what, Gene, I've seen some of your stories posted on. You're a pretty good author, but have you submitted to Writers of the Future? No, you haven't.
I after this time, especially after winning this one, I went back to my one of my critique groups, one of my bigger ones. We meet once a month, and there's 20, 25 people there, and it's a critique group. It's an honest to God critique. It is not visiting
my mom and dad.
everybody writes, and everybody, you submit your work. And I said, look, I've won this thing a couple times, honorable mention, but I just won this big one. You guys need to. And they're like, well, well, how much does it cost? And I said, it's free. Enter. Just enter. If you write this kind of stuff, enter. And I got 2 people entering now.
And they should enter. They should enter. I mean, I don't know why it comes out after every lecture, but it always does. And I always tell the same thing: enter. I don't mind because I always love talking about John.
But this entered got an honorable mention. So yeah, he's all stoked, especially now.
Yeah, so. It's like because I got a running joke: you send John $1 million, and we'll get you a commercial. Yeah, I always tell him though, we can't get you in a contest, but we might be able to get you a seat at the gala. Yeah, it's expensive getting that damn contest, man. Ain't no, Christopher. There's no money. You don't pay no money to go to Writers of the Future now. If you win, they fly you out there. Yes, they fly you out there. And depending on where we are, they always put you at a no-set hotel. It might be Lowe's, might be Roosevelt. They never tell me what hotel we're at. No, they don't. I'm not allowed to know for some reason. I haven't figured that one out yet. But
Tony told me that it was where the Academy Award people stay.
Oh, well, I know where that's at. It really doesn't matter because each hotel has its own very specific character to it, and each has its own advantages to it. Like when you get up in the morning, like at the Roosevelt, they have a better place to eat up in the morning. But but Lowe's, I love their little breakfast thing, the little fast breakfast thing. What is that? The bodega? What was that thing called down at the
yeah.
That thing was perfect. A cup of coffee, a little sandwich. Man, that thing, it was great in the morning time. Because I don't always want a breakfast.
You guys know the dates? I don't even know when this happens.
Well, the gala, the award ceremony is April 16th. So I imagine you're going to be flown out around the April 10th or so.
Oh,
Yeah, you're usually out there 5 or 6 days. Yeah.
Yeah. And you'll be teamed up with another person. You have two writers per room, and unless you have a spouse, in which case then you just get the room with your spouse. And then you come in. It's I think you come in on Friday night, and that's when the welcome is, and then Saturday starts the workshop. And then the next day is when the illustrators fly in, and they get their workshop going. And then it's on, I guess it's either Sunday or Monday is the big reveal. That's where you meet your artist and see the art for your story.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be fun.
That's a special event. And then, we have all these judges coming in. And so we have the 2 main instructors, which is Jody Lynn and Tim Powers. And then for the writers, and then there's 2 days of just like we rotate all the other judges through to give you different aspects of creative writing that you're going to go through. And then on Wednesday night is rehearsal where you'll see the venue for the first time. And then Thursday is the event. And then Friday we have Emily and I teach how to promote yourself workshop on how to do radio and TV and how to do social media and how to do an event and how to hold the book and just different things like that. And then usually on that day, on Friday morning, the 2 grand prize winners will get a special podcast interview. And then Friday night, I'll try to get 3 different podcasts done.
It's a whirlwind is what it is.
A whirlwind, yeah. So I get all these people coming in to just talk about, their week here. And throughout the week, Joe's going to be there and he'll be interviewing everybody.
And my door is always open. So rule 1, if you get time and you want to do it, grab me. Go up to the suite and do it no time at all. Sometimes I'll be in the suite doing them. Sometimes I'll be doing something else. Sometimes I'll be walking around harassing people. But if you get the time, just let me know. We go up and do them. It's because we want to get everybody. What we do is, like I said, there's going to be 4 interviews coming up. The 4 interviews is more for y'all, so y'all can get to know each other. So next time in January, February, Carmen will start booking 4 guests at a time, and he'll have like 4 of the winners, 4 of the authors, 4 of the illustrators, and that way you get to meet each other ahead of time. Just kind of feel each other out to see who you're going to be hanging out with when you get there. So it's kind of nice. And then when we get there, we're going to all be harassing you to do interviews, but we're not going to push you that hard. We're going to push you, but there's so much other stuff going on. I only do interviews in between. We used to do them later. I used to let them run till 2 a.m, but I realized it was just too much. it was killing some of the winners can take it better than the other winners. So, you don't want to push somebody when they're going to have they're going to be up at 6 or 8.
Well, here's a weird question. Will my wife be able to come into like the classes with me?
You go over there with Joni on, we've had some can do it. The actual workshop, not so much, but maybe in some when we have our special guest lectures, we've had that happen, but just go over with Joni.
Yeah, they're a little bit funny about that. They are. And
you work hard to get to where you are. So we want to be able to we try to keep it focused on the winners, and we want to be able to address your questions and go over your things here and not have people that, because you're being treated now as a pro by coming in as a winner.
Yeah.
It's a different thing, so they're not wondering, when you go to a lot of writer workshops, it's for people that want to become a writer. By winning this contest, you're proving that you're a writer. So now we're going to give her the more tech on writing and the skill of writing and how to create a career with it, things that you don't otherwise learn to do. So you're going into this art with the assumption that you're a writer. Now we're going to give you some of the more the craft of people that have been doing it for 20, 30, 40 years.
And, in the evenings, they got a bar con or lobby con, whatever you like.
That's a fun thing that, you go there and just meet Joe, and other writers will go there. A lot of your fellow writers and judges will go there, and you'll just, whether you're drinking root beer or regular beer or wine or
so if you're downstairs and you see somebody you want to meet, but for some reason you got nervous and don't want to talk to them, just look for me. I'll be down there somewhere. Just holler at me and I'll come introduce you. I mean, I do it all the time. It's one of the reasons I go down there, just so I can introduce each other. If we're at Lowe's, I'll be back in the back behind the bar, sitting usually with a couple of the illustrators. And if not, we'll be in the front. I like to get up sometime. The way the hotels are set up, it's really nice. You can sit in there and get comfortable. And everybody comes downstairs and talks. Everybody does. And I'll be honest with you, the judges, they want to talk to you. Don't ask me why they want to talk to you, but they want to talk to you. When the first year I seen them, which was a double year, they were coming off of COVID, so they had a double year, which was insane to watch these people work. But I realized by the third session, the third time, that really these judges really want to talk to y'all. I mean, I seen them approaching people. Matter of fact, sometimes I would see like 2 authors standing there, 2 illustrators standing there, and you see a judge just walk up to them and say, "Hey, what's up, guys? What y'all doing?" They really, really, truly want to talk to you. They really want to help you. And there's so much information you're going to see here. And you're not going to always see, they may not always agree on the same thing, but you're going to get a lot of information.
Excellent.
Any way it goes. And you can also go around now saying you're a published author to boot. So that never hurts anything. You won the contest and you're published. So that never hurts anything. But I mean, really and truly, every author I've met so far, or every judge I've met so far wants to be there and they want to help. Even the cute ones. It's like Dan DeSantis. He's cute, but he's an illustrator, so we can't. He's on the other side. He's on the other side of the room.
Yes.
But I mean, there's a lot of things that go on. You're gonna have a lot of fun. There'll be a couple of things that are surprises there when you get there, but there's just a lot going on. And when I say there's a lot, when you get up in the morning, you'll get something to eat, and pretty much till lunch you'll be busy, and then you get some lunch, and pretty much till dinner you'll be busy, and then a lot of times at night you're going to be busy. Like there's a couple of things that go on different nights, like the big reveal. They got the barbecue, they got the signing when everybody signs their, we all get together and sign the book. And Jimmy, that's my book. You can look as beat as it wants to be. It's mine. It's the one I show everybody. Get off my ass, buddy. I'm telling you what, people are rude today, man.
That book is proof.
But when you look at this, let me see if it's this one. I think it's this one. It's let me look at here.
It's one of the 2 or 3 best anthologies, best science fiction awards in the various book contests, which is.
I love getting my sci-fi like this and my fantasy like this because it's mixed stories. All I was going to show you, this isn't any particular work, but you'll notice the little signatures at the bottoms down there.
Right.
And then there's another ones they'll be signing. On this book, it might be the other one that they're signing all over the place. And then there's a bunch signing here. I always tell people don't ask me to sign your book because I screw it up.
Okay, I'm going to meet the illustrator who illustrates my story.
Yeah.
Very excited. I'm very anxious to meet that person.
Yes.
Um,
They're not going to tell you who it is, though. You got to figure it out on your own.
no, the question is, will I be able to have a copy of that picture?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you get one.
Yeah.
You'll get a framed print of that. Yes.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite parts of the whole event there. That and a couple other things that goes on, but I like when they make the artists have to draw the live models. That's always fun to watch. It's even more fun when we can talk getting up there and modeling herself. It's more fun, but that's always fun. And then of course there's the story that y'all gonna have to write when you get in there. Those are things that are just really, really fun to watch. And it might be a little bit stressing for y'all, but when it's all said and done, it's just a lot of fun. I've never heard anybody really complain about it. Everybody's like, God, I can do it. I can do it. Oh no, I'm gonna jump off a damn brick.
There's an illustrator in our group, in our Florida writers. His name is Arthur DeWico, and he won the illustrator a couple of years ago, maybe now.
Yeah.
So I emailed him and I said, hey, Arthur, what is this? What's it like? Any advice? And basically he said, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, Mark. And he said, dude, it's just like the Oscars. They're going to have the lights and the cameras and the red carpet. And he said, man, just take it all in. That was his advice.
That's good advice. Yeah, you'll get the judges say, I can assure you this will not happen for you again. Enjoy it. Yes. Even if you become very successful, they still don't get that. Even Kevin Anderson, he's been to some of his Dune premieres because he writes the Dune scripts on the Dune movies. But he said, he'll say, look, you're not going to get this again. So definitely enjoy it. It's referred to as the Oscars of science fiction and fantasy. It's been dubbed that because it really is. We'll have 20 or 30 media there, and we've got we have we work on getting the various media to come there because we just on this last quarter we have a winner from China, from South Africa, and from
Japan. I think I saw
Japan. Yeah, that's what it was. So then we reach out to the media. They're going to come and they'll cover.
They've been racking up some Asian winners lately.
Yes, we have winners from 52 different countries. And this year it's going to be a special year too, because it's we break 1,000 winners this year. And we also have it's year 42. So if you're familiar with science fiction, the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, they have that. They ask the question, what's the answer to the life, universe, and everything? The answer is 42. So that's this year. So we're looking forward to it.
I'm calling Joni and asking if we get a special cake. That's it. I'm calling her. I know I got her phone number somewhere. I got it stashed somewhere.
Exactly.
No, Jesse, we're getting ready to leave. Why, you got a question? What is it? Oh, that's easy. Writersthefuture.com. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you haven't taken, I really recommend that you check out this writersthefuture.com and go there. We have a free online writing workshop, which I was talking to Katie about in the first hour. Have you done the course, Mark?
No, I heard about it from Joni.
Yeah.
She said, "Did you do it?" And I said, she said, "Well, it's free."
Yeah. So I'll be saying, because everybody needs to do it before you come out there, because that's what that used to be the course that you would do as a winner. So now, by getting you through that, then now you're up to the next level above that, since that's right. So it gives them more time to do more advanced stuff with you, because this has already been done. So I'll be getting an email to everybody saying you need to get through this course. And I'll also be sending you a book. I'll find out what book will be being sent, because that'll be the Hubbard title. We've done Fear, we've done Final Blackout, we've done Typewriter in the Sky, To the Stars. Different judges have different favorite Hubbard books that we use, and you'll read that, and that's what they'll use for the class examples of different writing techniques and styles. And then the illustrators use it to be able to come up with their examples, their life drawings, and their various group sessions that they do to be able to create different art and stuff. So anyway, so that'll be coming out shortly, so you have a chance to get through that. And then we'll have I think it's the end of February. We'll send around where we have the cover reveal. So the book cover, your book covers we'll have the artist and which is Thurello, who's in Spain. He painted the cover. Then Orson Scott Card wrote the short story. So they'll both be the special guests on this cover reveal and this Zoom reveal, where they'll both be talking, explaining what they did. And you'll see your cover for the first time.
Yeah. Cool.
So it'll definitely be cool.
I know, Christy, we got to go, baby. It's 5 after 5. Yeah. Why? No, it's Galaxy Press. You want to buy some? GalaxyPress.com. Yes. No, I thought you wanted writersoffuture.com. Well, they're on their website. You can find them.
Yeah.
I keep them they're on their websites. They're on our websites. Just type in Writers of the Future if you get lost. Well, these days we've added a lot of stuff since they've been with us, so they're probably more searchable now, but it doesn't matter. Just type in writersoffuture.com. Yeah. They'll take you right there. I took the course 3 times. I just can never finish the story. No. It's not because of my imagination. It's called laziness. We're going to be honest about it. That's what it's called.
Is an iPad advisable? A laptop advisable?
Yeah, you're definitely be bringing either an iPad or a laptop, whatever for making your notes.
Yeah, I brought my pad and my laptop. But I'll tell you a little secret. I used to bring my big laptop. I actually I got a little a Google one I bought out when I was out there. It's much easier. It's much lighter, much easier. And my pad works really too. My Apple pad works really good out there.
Yeah, but everybody has
Wi-Fi everywhere.
Everybody has a device that they'll take their notes on.
Yeah, everybody does. It's just. I mean, there are some people still do it old school with paper and pen, but I mean, if you got a pad or a laptop, I'd just bring it.
Well, I was just thinking if they're part of the assignments are writing papers, whatever. I mean,
Yeah, you're gonna need a laptop for writing a 24-hour story.
Yes, the 24-hour story is a blast. By the way, it's that's one of my favorite things.
It's easy for Joe to say.
Yeah, well, you got to write now. Who was it with that first year? He said, "Can I talk to you?" He said, "You got to talk to us." I said, "You got to talk to somebody else besides me." He's like, "Well," I said, "Because I'm part of what they're doing here." I said, "I'd talk to somebody." It's like, Joe, I said, "That's not my rule, buddy. I can't help it." I said, "Look, go ask Joni," but I already know what she's going to tell you. Joni's great, by the way. She's a whirlwind by herself sometimes. But I'll tell you a little secret. When you get there, everybody's great. All the people over at Author Services are great. They're all just a good bunch of people. They work really, really, really hard. They pull off a great event. And he's right about the gala event. It doesn't matter what gala you go to, or gala you go to, you're not going to really find it's pretty much set up like any gala anywhere you would go. So you'll enjoy it. Lots of media, lots of TV, lots of stuff going on. Everybody's all pretty and looking all pretty and stuff, You get on stage and accept your awards. So hey, it's a lot of fun, and it is a once in a lifetime thing, and it's one of those things you should enjoy. Not to say that you might not win an Emmy in the future or Oscar or something, but hey, if you win an Oscar, don't forget us, man. John and I want to mention it. If you win an Oscar.
Yeah, we want an invitation.
I'd like to meet some movie people. That would be fun. Producer.
Yeah, at the gala, there'll be some movie people there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, but you also got people like Orson Scott Card, who's got a movie to his credit. You got Tim Powers, who also has a movie to his credit. Somebody else over there's got, and then of course you got the Doom Boys, and somebody else got a movie to their credit. So it's some of the judges are pretty up there in scale themselves. But they do have a lot of other people. Shit, I got to meet the general from Space Command there a couple of years back. I liked him. I said, "Hey man, can I have your security clearance?" You see, that's for UFOs, man. Oh no, Chris, we're going right now. Any place you got a site or anything you want to tell them about before we leave out of here or anything? Mark,
you have a web page or social page that people can find you?
MarkMcWaters.com. They can find me there.
Good.
I've got some of my my self-pub books on Amazon, so they can search my name on Amazon and find me.
Amazon, yeah. I think everything's on Amazon nowadays. What are you talking about, Christopher? No, we'll be on in about an hour. You're talking about the chat? Yeah, they'll be on in about an hour. Jay will set up the show in a little while, and then we'll be on. I think they're calling it the place where insane people come to listen. Yeah. It's the show is just insane. The chat is just, it's an audience. We let the audience drive the show, so they get to pick the topic. It's insane. It's so hard to explain because 1 minute we'll be talking about this, next minute we're talking about that, next minute we're talking about that. And they like food porn a lot, which is not real porn. It's not real porn. It's just, we call it food porn because that's all they're talking about is really good, delicious food and really great pictures of food. It started because one of our hosts, she's a really good chef, and she likes to send around pictures of her food after she's done. So one day I told her, I said, stop sending me food porn. You're making me all wanting to go eat something. And it just got labeled food
You ever
porn.
heard of a book called Rude Food?
I don't know. It sounds familiar.
Yeah, it's kind of literally food porn.
Oh, Jesus.
But anyway.
I better not let none of my hosts find out. They'll have it on the damn television set with them, who insane people that they are. But on that note, we got to get out of here. Ladies and gentlemen, we got to go. I want to thank everyone for tuning in to the Authors Quill. Hope you really enjoyed the show tonight. Of course, if you got any moan, groans, bitches, or complaints, please feel free to write to Michelle DeRoche. She loves to hear from you people. Don't be surprised if she writes back something loser, but still, she does love to hear from you people. And please don't write to her and say, can you fire Joe? Because she's going to be really rude to you if you do. Because she can't, so you're just going to upset her. But on that note, I want to thank everyone for tuning in again to United Public Radio and the Authors Quill. I hope you really do enjoy the rest of your holidays. Remember, still be safe. We still got to get through New Year's, people. Keep the booze in the house. Good night, everybody.
And